Hi everyone. Alright, so let's talk about Argylle then. So, this is a movie I've been looking forward to for quite some time. It's been sitting on a shelf for a little bit because originally it was intended to be released on Apple TV as a streaming original, basically. But things transpired and they partnered up with Universal for a global theatrical release. And I'm really pleased that they did because this was a lot of fun to see in the theatre. It's tremendous fun. It's again, I always liked Matthew Vaughn. I loved X-Men First Class, loved Kingsman, and I really like his sensibilities and his sense of humour. And one of the things I was talking with my friend about after seeing this is it's one of these films you're either on board with it and you're along for the ride or you're not. Because Matthew Vaughn, he has a very specific sense of humour and a very specific style. And granted, some people just they can't get on board with it, which is fair enough. You know, it's all subjective and your mileage is going to vary with this sort of thing. But I was into it. I really, really was. And obviously, the basic premise, as you see in the trailers, Bryce Dallas Howard's character is a novelist. She writes these spy novels which centre around Argylle, the world's greatest spy. And it just so happens that everything she's writing about in her novels is actually happening. It's actually coming true. So various government agencies and entities want to get hold of her and find out how the hell she knows about all of this stuff. And then along the way, she meets this character played by Sam Rockwell, who is an actual spy, and then we go from there. It's fun. It's really really fun, and it's great as it's unique. Getting to see the intercutting between what's going on in her novels and then what's going on in the real world. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, I was excited to see this for Henry Cavill. I just love seeing him in stuff. What I will say is this is this is first and foremost Bryce Dallas Howard's movie. She is the main character, and then obviously Sam Rockwell is her co-star. Henry Cavill is used. He's used sparingly. We'll put it that way. He's basically peppered throughout the movie because obviously he's only in this, or he only features in this to the extent that we see the things in her novel. So you could say to some extent there's a bit of a bait and switch, but if you go into it with the understanding that this is Bryce Dallas's movie and it's her, her character's the lead character, even though the film is called Argylle. But there's still a lot to like here. I had a lot of fun with it. The opening is I was completely in on the opening because the opening starts in one of her novels, so we see things play out, and we have the stuff with Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa, and that whole opening sequence, I was loving it. I really was, and then we find out, oh, all of this is going on in Greece, so you get bonus points from me right off the bat. You're setting this in Greece, awesome, love it. And again, just that whole opening scene, it's outrageous, but it's so much fun, and that's what I was hoping the rest of the film was going to be, and to a certain extent it is. But I was just hoping for more Henry Cavill. But again, that's my fault, because given the nature of the film, obviously there's only so much of him you can have. Um, there's other highlights. Like I said, the opening was a highlight for me. The train fight, the whole train sequence was a real highlight, and it's done in such a way where it's intercutting between the stuff that Sam Rockwell's doing in the real world and then the stuff that Henry Cavill's Argyle's doing. So the way they do it's so creative and so well done. And then there's another fight scene that takes place a bit later that's done in a similar way, intercutting between Sam Rockwell and Henry Cavill. And it's really cool to see. Um, So they're real highlights. And also there's a wonderful little bit later on when we're introduced to Sam Jackson's character. His character lives at this vineyard in France because why wouldn't he? And there's a bit where he takes Bryce Dallas on a stroll through the vineyard, and he's given this whole monologue on the wine making process and the way they grow the grapes and the types of grape, and um, how the grape is a product of its environment, and just you're sitting there and you're watching Sam Jackson carry this scene, and he's delivering this monologue. And if you're a wine drinker as well, if you're a wine lover, you'll be getting something out of it. I kind of did because I always want to go on a wine taste, and that's definitely on the bucket list. So I was kind of like just I was there in spirit as well. I was going along with them, thinking, yeah, just keep on going, Sam. I'm loving this. But that was great, and there is a lot to like here. It's flawed, it is. I don't think it's deserving the savage reviews that it's been getting. I think at the minute on the Rotten Tomatoes website, again for what Rotten Tomatoes is worth, it's sitting on about 35%, and I think that's very harsh. Um, but there's a lot to like here, and I think the critics have been very unfair. One thing I will say, which I think is valid, is it is overlong. It is. It runs a little long. It's about 2 hours 20, but it runs a little long. Um, but yeah, it's schlocky. It's nonsensical. It's over the top, but it's fun. It's got it's not pretentious at all. It's not being heavy-handed with any sort of messaging. It's just something that's designed to entertain. You go in there and you switch your brain off and enjoy, and there's a lot to be said for that. We need to get back to more stuff like that. And again, Matthew Vaughn, it's at the point where you know what you're getting from him as a general rule. So if you like Matthew Vaughn movies, you're gonna get something out of this. But again, really enjoyed it. Again, it's not designed to be anything great, but it's fun, really fun. Like you say, there you go, fun. I went to see it at the first showing this morning. So a morning matinee performance. There you go. Or even a rental when it comes out. That's basically that sort of level. It's a fun time. Anyway, that wraps this up. Thank you for indulging me. I really appreciate it. And I hope if you guys check it out, I hope you enjoy it. And I will look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.